Hi, everybody. So this is really exciting. We are feeling very festive. You're supposed to have the holidays all year long. And we recently had Christmas in July. And my friend Amber and I have a weakness for Hallmark original movies, particularly around Christmas. And so we thought it would be fun to have a little podcast where we talk about our favorite Hallmark original Christmas movies. And we were able to see a bunch in the Christmas in July that they just aired. Do you want to introduce yourself? Say hi, Amber.
Yes, hi, I'm Amber. Some of you might recognize me from my scathing indictment of Anne with an E. And I do not feel like liking Hallmark movies is a weakness for them. It is a strength. And I mean, my DVR all year round at least has one Hallmark Christmas movie on it. And that's only because you can buy them now on DVD. So why waste my DVR space? But
yeah,
I try to watch at least one Hallmark Christmas movie a month.
Nice. Yeah, I try to watch, I don't know necessarily particularly Christmas movies, but I watch a couple probably a month actually. Just Hallmark movies because they have one pretty much every weekend.
Oh, they're just like, you know what? People like these. Let's do one every day. It's so exhausting. On Saturdays, I honestly go through the next couple of weeks of the Hallmark channels.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 of them now. And go through on my DVR and set them up to record whatever new show it was.
I know.
wish you could just do a season recording of the new Hallmark movie.
I agree. That's what I think. You should just be able to have a Hallmark Christmas movie, season pass kind of a thing. I agree. And what do you think is the appeal to these films?
So I personally feel like most of the films harken back to the golden age of Hollywood when they were just going for escapism and having light, fun, happy experiences. You watch it, you feel great. And also, the movies, for the most part, are extremely family friendly. So you can watch them with anybody and you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed that this is going to happen in the show. So, and so they're just sweet and perfect and everything wonderful.
Yeah, because there's Lifetime, which tend to be I think in my opinion a step down. The Lifetime movie, especially those unofficial whatever story, those are horrible.
Yeah.
Or the Lifetime serial killer weird movies.
Absolutely.
And so those are a lot, I think, on a different level. But these are just they are kind of escapism. They're the kind of rom-coms that we just don't get. Most of them are rom-coms that we just don't get in the theaters hardly ever anymore. They're all R-rated, kind of harsh, caustic, kind of romantic comedies.
Not even necessarily about the romance of falling in love. It's just the joy of having sex, which I'm not about. I mean, people, whatever. But I don't need to watch people talk about it all day.
Yeah.
They're
just even a movie that I really like, such as Legally Blonde. I really like that movie, but it's still got some of that suggestive humor in it, and some of the tawdry moments, and so this is just something more wholesome, and I think that they are able to get. Yes, they're second tier actors. You're not gonna get your Brad Pitts and whatever to be in a Hallmark original movie. But but I think that they get solid actors, and the ones that work, they get good chemistry, and they're just enjoyable escapism. I agree.
Yeah, I love them, and I don't even mind that 80% of the movies have Cameron Matheson in them.
Yeah.
I think it's fun because there's the people that you're like, oh my gosh, I love them. And then you're like, and they're going to be in another one.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think they're solid, decent actors, that do for the most part, do a decent job. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So we came up with a list of 12.
Yes. It was going to be 10, but I couldn't cut 2 of them. So 12 movies of Christmas. It works. It was great.
And my favorite Hallmark series is the Love Comes Softly series. I actually think those are like really good. I like some of these are sort of, I know like aren't great, but I still enjoy them. But like I actually think Love Comes Softly series is like really good. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, I love
Yeah,
Love Comes Softly. I own all of them on
me too.
DVD, and I read the books because I'm a book person.
Yeah.
And so they're really fun. They're really good. But did
Yeah.
we say that we were excluding all? We did, right?
Yes.
We're
So
excluding the series.
correct. So all right. So let's get started. We're gonna go over our 12.
Okay.
So I'll start. These aren't really in like a hard order, I guess. So these are just sort of 12 that I like, as opposed to like I like 12 so much better. Like I like 10 so much better than 11 and 12. I know they're about the
Right.
same in enjoyment level, really, for me.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one I want to talk about is called Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade. This
Yes.
was 2012, and it stars Autumn Reeser and Antonio Cupo, and it's about a consultant comes in to help with the parade in Chicago, I think it is, to run better. And of course, the two spar at first and then fall for each other. And this is something you'll see very frequently, that you have sort of the businesswoman who's sort of forgotten about what's important. Sometimes it's the businessman, but usually it's the businesswoman.
Yes. It falls in definitely to the trope of grouchy person who doesn't love Christmas, and then they find the joy of Christmas and love.
Yeah. In this one, though, she's not. She's a pretty likable character, I think, and
Yeah.
and then you have the consultant, the Antonio Cupo character, who's the more hardened one, I guess, and but he's charming and
Yeah.
funny. And so basically, my thoughts on this one was that I love Cupo, or how we say it. I thought they had great chemistry together, and I just thought it was a charming rom-com.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of my favorites. If you looked on my list, it was around 14, 15. So it didn't quite make the cut, but it was there. And I love Autumn Reeser so much. She, like, anything she's in, I'm like, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Like Amy Acker, she's one of those people for me that I'm just like, I'll watch whatever you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that this one, anyone where they have a jerk fiance or a jerk boyfriend, I'm about. I love those with the jerk boyfriend guys, and it's a really good one. So if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah, you should watch all of these. Some of these are a little bit hard to find because they're not on DVD, and so you have to try to stream them. So I tried to watch all of them, but I got through about 8 of them.
As I was going through our mutual lists, I do know that at least every single one of these was on once during this last Christmas season.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have to wait until December or until October 31st or whenever they're starting this year,
right?
You'll be able to, you can catch them.
All right. So what's your number 12?
My number 12, or the one I'm going to start with, number 12, is a new one from this year. I kind of thought that the lineup this year wasn't super strong, or as strong as it has been in years past.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I absolutely loved. It was the new one, and it's called Love Always Santa. Did you get a chance to watch that one this season? Okay.
No.
So it stars Marguerite Moreau, I guess is how you say her name, Mike Faola, and Brady Smith. And basically the premise is this lady's a widower. No, just a widow. She's just a widow. She, her daughter writes to Santa and asks for a husband for her mom, or for her mom to be happy. And there's this guy who's like a children's writer who's working at a place where they respond to letters to Santa, pretend to be Santa and respond.
Mm-hmm.
So he writes a really nice, thoughtful, long, handwritten, cursive letter to this girl, being very insightful and, saying like, she doesn't need like a man to make her happy or whatever. It's really a sweet letter. And so the mom writes back and is like, thank you for your great letter. And they just sort of become like pen pals. And then he wants to meet them, and he goes on like a book tour to their town so that he can like meet her. I don't know. It's really cute.
That sounds cute.
It was actually like super magical, but there wasn't any like overt magic in it. I don't know. I loved it. It was really sweet. It was a little bit like, okay, well, couldn't you just be like, hey, I'm me, instead of being like, hey, I'm just this guy, not your Santa. So it was pretty fun. And you'll see through the rest of my choices that it's actually a little bit more, even though it doesn't sound like it, a little bit more grown up than the other ones that I've seen. It's a little less like pixie dust and more like...
Because I don't tend to be as into the, like, go to the North Pole kind of ones, you know what I mean? Like, that are super Santa-y. I prefer the ones, like, Santa can be a mild element, but I prefer the more grounded ones, I guess.
As you'll see from my... You'll find out later on how I feel about Santa.
Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, so that's Love Always Santa, really cute. And it's new, so a lot of people didn't see it, but it was really good.
That sounds good. All right, my next one is Mrs. Miracle, and this was 2009. And there's two. You said three, I believe.
Well,
I've seen two of the Mrs. Miracles.
Yeah, so there's Mrs. Miracle, and then whatever Mrs. Miracle 2 is called. I think it's just called Return of Mrs. Miracle.
Something like that.
And then the third one is actually, it's not with Doris Roberts, obviously, but it's called Mr. Miracle.
Oh, that's right. Forgot.
So it's kind of like a loose spin-off, but that one's pretty cute too. But
it has Doris Roberts as Mrs. Miracle, Aaron Carpluck, and James Vanderbeek in the leads, and it's about a widower who gets a housekeeper that starts to change his life, and it's of course Mrs. Miracle, and he's been grieving, and he can't kind of move on, and so she comes in and makes all these miracles happen, and it's really, I think this one works. I said Roberts is great chemistry between the leads, and a nice message of overcoming grief at the holidays.
Yeah, it's sorry, were you going to...
No, go ahead.
It's really cute. I think it's one of my first really serious, like, I'm watching a Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah.
It's probably like my first love. And I love Erin Carpluck, or whatever, how you say her name, the girl.
Yeah, she's good. She's good.
She's is she in the old-timey series they have now? What's it called?
What's that one called? When Calls the Heart or something?
Yeah,
she might be.
No, that's not her. Well, she might be in it, but she's not like the main girl. But I really like her. She was in a Canadian show called Being Erica, which was like a little bit inappropriate, but she's really great. So, I mean, I was primed to like this movie because it had Dawson and Erica and Doris Roberts, and I was ready to like it, and I did, and it was great.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's pretty well executed for what it's trying to be. And I think that's what you have to kind of say with a lot of these kinds of films, is that you have to look and say, it's not trying to be, this is not an excuse and say it's not trying to be an Oscar winner, but you have to say with any film, you have to say, what is it trying to be? And is it successful in being that? And I think particularly with this one, it is. It's supposed to be a movie about a charming, thoughtful, romantic movie in the holidays, and it succeeds at doing that. And it's a lot less manipulative than like some of the other, some of the other ones dealing with, grief, like the Christmas Shoes or something like that, so.
And I will just come out right now and say it. I did not like the Christmas Shoes movie. No. I hate the Christmas Shoes song. I think it's about a kid swindling people out of money. The end. I'm sorry. That's it.
It's just too much. It's too manipulative. It's too much for me. So, all right. So what's your number 11?
My number 11 is going to be Snow Bride. It came out in 2013, and it has Patricia Richardson in it as like the star name that they put up first, and then Jordan Belfi and Katrina Law. And basically the premise of that is there's this gal who works at like a sleazy tabloid, and she's sent on assignment to get the scoop on this very fancy family, the Tannenhills. And she, in the course of it, yada, 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 has to wear her friend's her wedding dress because she's going to freeze to death. She gets stranded in the whatever. Yeah. And she gets found by the Tannenhill guy, and she lies about who she is, and then they go to her house, and for some reason they decide that she's going to pretend to be his girlfriend. It's like super convoluted, like layer upon layer upon layer of deception, and it's so fun, and I love it so much.
Which the fake fiance is also a common thread throughout all of these movies.
The fake fiance, the fake relationship.
Yeah.
Those are, I'll be perfectly honest, the ones where they have to pretend to be in love and fall in love are my favorite ones. Like, it's my dream in life is to probably find some guy and be like, hey, the holidays are rough for both of us. Why don't we pretend to be engaged? And then at the end of the season, we'll just kidding, we'll fall in love for real and get married. Like, that's my secret plan. Don't tell any men. They don't need to know. But so it's really fun, and it knows what it is, and it nails it. There's lots of really good.
That one is fun.
There's funny character moments, so it's good.
Yeah. All right, good choice. So my number 10 is Boyfriend for Christmas. This is an old one, 2004. And this has Kelly Williams, Charles Durning, and Patrick Muldoon. And it's about a girl who makes a wish for a boyfriend for Christmas when she's little. And as an adult, she ends up with a fellow attorney that she's like sparring off with. And anyway, so they kind of go back and forth. And this one's pretty by the numbers, but it's charming, and they have good chemistry. So that's kind of what's good about it.
It's a really good one. Also pretty high up on my list. Spoiler alert, I went through and ranked every single one. And so the ones that were, it was like, oh. Anyway, so it is really great. And I believe it's the first one where Santa really is a meddlesome matchmaker guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty hands-off in this one, which I like my Santa right up in everybody's business. Being like, oh, my name's just Nick St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite, where Santa's like obviously like that, and like he's just like the world's biggest busybody. I love that Santa.
I wish I could remember the name. I was watching one today where he there's this whole Christmas sleigh that he keeps having to that I don't know causes all this, and Santa's very he makes the sleigh appear at the most awkward times, and just to get these two people together.
Yeah, it's that was a new one, and I think it was called like Jingle All the Way or
something like that. Yeah, Sleigh Bells or something. I don't know.
Silver Bells.
It was something with a sleigh, I think. I can't remember, but anyway.
That one was not good. See, that came from this very weak season last year.
Yeah, we should talk about what makes some not work and what makes some work, because they seemingly have the same elements. But for me, the ones that don't work, I think are usually, I don't know, like, I think I can handle like one contrivance or two contrivances, but when you just start piling it up to the point where it's just like, okay, now this is so stupid. But also, they just don't have good chemistry. Sometimes they just don't, and you just don't care about them, and that's just it.
Like with Snow Bride, you can have all the contrivances you want, and you're just like, well, it's good. True. Because all the people in it just nail it. They all have chemistry. Yeah. They're delivering their like cheesy, weird lines in perfect ways. And then there's the ones where they're like, it's like they're taking it too. They're like, I want to win an Oscar for my performance in this movie about sleigh bells. Or there's just no chemistry. And the one you're talking about, I think the guy in its name was David Alpe, whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
And he's later on in my list, and the chemistry in that one is like real. So it's not anything against necessarily the actors themselves, but just like the whole thing.
And I think if they tried too hard to be preachy, to have a message, like, you just tell the story, and like, but if you're, I don't know, like, sometimes they can be a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to the message. So, okay, so let's see. So you're number 10.
My number 10. So my number 10 is another one that's kind of super contrived, but kind of good,
Yeah.
And it's called One Starry Christmas, and it came out in 2014, and it stars Sarah Carter and Damon Runyon. So this girl named Holly, of course her name's Holly because their name's always something like that. Mary,
yeah.
Holly, Joy.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend's kind of a jerk. And he leaves her for Christmas, and he's gonna go like be with his family, like his parents, not like his like family.
Right.
And she decides to surprise him and go visit him and his family for Christmas. And so she takes a bus because she's poor, even though her boyfriend's really rich and he could have flown her there. Anyway, and of course, there's problems with the bus and it breaks down. And the handsome cowboy,
seen this one. Yeah.
The handsome cowboy that was sitting by her is like, well, golly, ma'am, let me just take you to be part of my family for Christmas. You can't be alone. And they obviously fall in love, and like their family, she gets along great with their family, and they end up going to New York together. And the best part of any movie is when the cowboy teaches city folk how to dance. And this, of course, has that. It's just everything. I really enjoy that one. It's, simple.
Yeah, that one's a really good one. I agree.
But well done.
Yeah. No, that one's a lot of fun. It has good chemistry, and it doesn't I don't know, it doesn't get boring like some of those road trip kind of movies can, kind of. Yes. Those sort of things. Good choice. Okay, so my number 9 is similarly contrived, I must admit. Is The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. 2008. This stars the great actor Henry Winkler, of course, and then Brooke Burns, who's in a lot of these, and Warren Christie. And basically, the Henry Winkler character is traveling on a plane, and there end up being problems, and so he invites this guy to come and stay with them, and he lives with his niece and her son, and she's very upset that or is he visiting? I can't remember. I didn't get to rewatch this one, but anyway, so he invites this guy over, this stranger, and so she's very upset at first, and she's dating. It's one of those ones where she's dating the jerk, the horrible guy.
You always gotta date the jerk.
And yeah, it's just charming. One of those ones that's charming, good chemistry, and Henry Winkler is a lot of fun in the role.
Am I remembering correctly? Does Henry Winkler record footage of there being storms and the airport's closed, so the guy can't leave?
Yeah, there's something like that, I recall. Yeah, that's right. Okay, he does a lot of things to try to keep him, because he doesn't like the fiance.
Yeah, just plop a hat on him and call him Santa Claus, because he's all in everybody's face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you definitely have the frazzled single mother is definitely another sort of trope in here that you've got for sure.
With the cool guy. Don't worry about life. Life will just take us okie dokie.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, yeah. So that's a fun one. I said in my notes, charming cast makes the cliched story work. So.
Yep, I agree.
So what's your so what is your number 8? Right, 8, right?
I don't know. Mine aren't numbers.
What's your next one?
What's your next one? The next one I'm doing is Annie Claus is Coming to Town, which is actually from 2011, but I didn't see it until this year. So it was new to me this year, which helped bring up the average of this season, but And it stars Maria Thayer, Vivica A. Fox, Sam
Oh
Page,
dear.
and Lawrence. So
That's
basically,
a pretty good cast.
I was like, how have I not seen this one? It's really great. So the premise is Annie is Santa's daughter, and she has to come down from the North Pole, and like she has to find love at the place, or she'll be forever alone or something,
Yeah.
the way Santa's relationships always work. And so she goes to Los Angeles, and she ends up getting a job at a toy store run by this guy who's obviously like #perfect and like would #make a great Santa heir, but whatever. But she thinks that she's in love with this other guy because an elf is like, I don't want her to be able to take over after Santa Claus leaves. I want it to be me. And he hires some actor. It's very convoluted, but whatever. It's so cute. The girl who is Annie Claus just like nails like the sweetness of what actually Santa Claus's daughter would be.
Yeah.
It's really good. So if you haven't seen it, you should probably catch it on the DVR.
All right, I will. I haven't seen that one, but it sounds really good. And so my next choice is A Crown for Christmas. And this, so it's my number 7. This is 2015, and it stars Danica McKellar and Rupert Penry Jones is his name.
Yes.
And this is basically Cinderella story, pretty much. You got this woman that she's hired as this governess for this royal family in Europe. And of course, there's this single, attractive king.
Wait, real quick. How many European nations do they expect us to think they're?
Yeah, that's true. And I have to admit, I have a love for The Beautician and the Beast with Fran Drescher. I love that movie. And this is kind of the similar thing, it's sort of the same thing, hired to be the governess, hired to be the nanny, kind of a thing. And so this isn't quite as good as that, but it's a similar, I just like this kind of story. And
and I love Danica. She's so great.
Yeah, she's really sweet. And they have good chemistry, which again is the most important thing when you're dealing with this kind of a thing. And I think the kids are cute. Like sometimes the kids in the Hallmark movies can be a little too precocious, can be a little annoying.
And like sometimes they're just like, I don't want to say it, but like not good. And I'm like, did you even audition people for this? Because this kid can't even.
Right. Yeah, I mean, one of the, it's not for Christmas, so I can pick it, but one I really love is The Nanny Express. And in that one, they got great kid actors, I think. Very, like, I love the performance, particularly of the teenager in that. And she's really good. And I think that the kids in here are tolerable. They're good. And they're in quite a bit. So, it works. And so, yeah, I like it.
It's a good one. I just want to say, so I think one of my second favorite Christmas movie of all time, it's a Lifetime one starring Danica and some guy, and it's called Love Under the Christmas Table.
Oh, I've seen that one. That one's good.
It's so cute. So, I mean, like,
Lifetime does have some good ones. They do have some. They do.
Maybe we'll have to have a follow-up series.
I'm kind of partial to the 12 Men of Christmas.
That one's so funny.
Lifetime. Because I love Kristen Chenoweth, and that one is very, very fun.
This is going to be a good segue into my next one, because I'm a big sucker for when they just remake or pay homage or reboot or retell or retool an old story.
I love those too.
And then just like put it on Christmas. And also, you know how I love my European royals. So my next one is actually Once Upon a Holiday, which came out in 2015.
Yeah.
And it actually came out during like the Thanksgiving spread. I remember this vividly because we were like waiting for it. So
I think they have a movie every single night the week of Thanksgiving, correct?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And so, but it was like
movie.
It was like the Wednesday, not actually Thursday. Like my cousin and I were like, "This is the one." So it stars Paul Campbell and Brianna Evigan and her dad, Greg Evigan. And so basically, it's the story of Roman Holiday.
Oh, nice.
And so it's, it's a princess and she's like, I just want to have a day. And so she runs away from her duties and she finds this guy and they fall in love. And it's just like super cute. And Paul Campbell, who's the star of it, is my favorite Hallmark man. My favorite home man. He barely, like, for a long time it was Andrew Walker. Mm-hmm. And Paul Campbell beat him. It was a tough day for me when I had to admit that.
He's good. He's really good.
He's really good. So it's really fun, and it's not necessarily like the best done one, I'm going to say, but his charisma just like carries the show. And I was already partial to liking her because she was from a Step Up movie. So, yeah, it's a really good one. And it just was, you were talking about 12 Men of Christmas, which is Pride and Prejudice, supposedly.
Oh, perfect. Is it Pride and Prejudice? I never thought that. I never thought of that.
It is.
But okay, yeah, I can see it. I never put that together. Okay, cool. That one sounds good. And so my next one is called Fur Crazy, and that's like the Douglas fir. This 2013, and this stars Sarah Lancaster and Eric Johnson, and it's about this, again, one of those female marketing, female corporate women who've lost touch, and she anyway, so she ends up having to work at her family's Christmas tree lot. And I think what I liked about this is that I felt like her sort of bitterness was very believable.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of these bitter single moms, you're just like, what's wrong? Like, or worker, with female workers, you're just like, what's wrong with you? Like, shape up, like, why are you being this way? But for her, it actually kind of makes sense because, to have this Christmas tree lot take up all of Christmas and take up all the time of your parents. And I can totally understand why you would feel kind of bitter and resentful about it. And so I think that Sarah Lancaster is great in this. She's one of my favorite of all of these performances. It may be my favorite. She's great. I think she's just so warm and so likable and so just wonderful. And the guy, Eric Johnson, he has a smaller part, really. It's more about just her sort of coming to terms with her childhood more than it is really the romance. Yeah. And I know, I just appreciated that. I think that where this one misses is this villain that they have, that's the owner of the department store next door, is very grown-worthy. And so that's the downside. He's very over the top. And
he's like, why are you guys plugged into my power?
Yeah. This eyesore Christmas tree lot, you're like,
bringing all these customers walking by my door.
Yeah, it's like, you need to be visited by three spirits because you're being really grumpy. So that's the downside of it.
Also bad at marketing. I just like,
Yeah, right. And they do try to kind of give him some warmth and explain why he is the way he is, but still, it's just a little too much. Yeah. So, but I just really love her, and I like that they kind of give a believable reason for her being the way she is.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it on there. So what about you? What's your number 6?
Okay, so my number 6 is another one. This is actually another one that I hadn't seen until this year. And funnily enough, I watched Annie Claus, Naughty or Nice, that's the one, and Love Always Santa back to back to back, all in a row, same day. And I was like, this is the best Christmas day ever.
Yeah. The best day of my life.
So Naughty or Nice, it came out in 2012, and it stars Hilary Burton and Matt Dallas. And so the premise is her name's Chrissy Kringle, and she always gets every Christmas mail, and it's like, ha, 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 I hate it because my name's Chris Kringle, and people always send me things, and Christmas is the worst, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But through some contrivance, she ends up having to work as a elf at a department store. And I think there's also a competition in her neighborhood where they have to have the best lights, but that's side plot, it just takes up time. Anyway, so she gets in the mail the real Naughty or Nice list. And the way that it actually works is it's a book, and she can be like, Rachel Wagner, and it'll be like, oh, this is something Rachel Wagner is doing that's naughty, and then she'd be like, oh, so it's kind of like a blackmail book. Anyway, and she has a fiance, and is he a jerk fiance or a nice fiance? Who knows? The book knows. So, it's actually really fun and really cute, and I just loved it because you don't ever really see that. I think there may also be an attempt to rob the department store or a bank through the department store. It's very it's got a lot of plots happening, but really fun. And she has a friend at the department store who works as an elf with her. He's really funny, so it's a good one.
That one sounds really good. And so that sounds really fun, creative. That sounds like something that's not too overdone it with the Santa stuff, but just kind of a clever take on it.
It's like Santa adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. So my next pick, my number 5, is November Christmas, and this one is actually a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie. So because there is a difference between a regular Hallmark movie and a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie. The biggest difference is that Hallmark Hall of Fame airs on ABC, I think.
Yeah.
It airs on the network. And so they're a little bit more budget, a little bit, they tend to get better actors, things like that. And I think the Love Comes Softly or Hallmark Hall of Fame, at least the first one, you have movies like They're Plenty Tall, that one's a Hallmark Hall of Fame, stuff like that. And so they're just slightly different, and that's why this one has such a stacked cast. This was 2010. It has Sam Elliott, Karen Allen, John Corbett, and Sarah Paulson. So very good cast. And it's basically just about how this whole town kind of gathers together to create this early Christmas, Halloween, and Christmas for this little girl who has a terminal illness and isn't going to make it. So they kind of recreate these holidays for them. And it's really moving and touching, and great cast. And I liked the girl in it. She's not annoying. She's a pretty good child actor. Mm-hmm. And this could go Nicholas Sparks very easily, but I think it keeps it grounded enough. It's not trying to make you cry that much. It picks those moments pretty judiciously, I think. Mm-hmm. And so I really enjoy it. So that's why I picked it.
I know I've seen it. I don't remember much about it because after I've seen one where it's about people dying, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, it's definitely sad, so I can understand that for sure.
I'm not team sad movie. I am. Yeah. I'm team Santa Claus movie.
Right. I understand. Understandable. But at least it doesn't do what, like I said, what a Nicholas Sparks movie will do, where it feels like you're just being kind of, I don't know, every movie manipulates you, but there's being manipulated, and there's ones where you really feel like you're being manipulated, and you start to resent it. And at least with this, I never felt that way. So anyway, so what is your next one?
So my next one is one that you would probably hate. It's called Matchmaker Santa, and it's surprisingly, about a matchmaker Santa. So in this premise, for some reason, Lacey Chabert's boyfriend, she's gonna go meet his mom or just spend the holidays with him and his mom.
Yeah.
And they're up at their cabin, and for whatever reason, she gets stuck in this town that's like close to the cabin but not there. And there's some guy that she like is stuck with.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say who it was. And it's Lacey Chabert, Florence Henderson, John Ratzenberg, and then Adam Mayfield is the guy she's stuck in the town with. And I just really enjoy it because it's like pretty fun, and it's you know, it's a classic, you know, Santa's a meddler and whatever. But the thing that I like about this, which is her boyfriend's not a jerk that start out with, but they're just not right for each other. And of course, good old Santa comes in there with his wily ways, and he tricks them into falling in love with other people, the people they're meant to be with. So not only does Santa make one couple, Santa makes two couples in Matchmaker Santa.
Oh, nice. Can't go wrong with that. And that is a really good cast. I like Lacey Chabert. She is wonderful in these movies. She really has sort of found her niche, I think.
Yeah. And I can't remember the guy who's in this one who is the Santa. But he's the world's best Santa. Like, he might actually be Santa. If he wasn't in other stuff when he was younger, I would say for sure they got the real Santa.
Yeah.
Plus, she bakes in this one, so, you know, that's an important staple of a Christmas movie.
Very good. All right, so my number 4 is The Christmas Card, another sad one.
Yeah.
2006. This is John Newton, Ed Asner, Alice Evans, and it's about this soldier who gets this Christmas card from a fellow soldier who then dies. The fellow soldier dies, and so, he keeps this Christmas card. His friend keeps the Christmas card, and it just encourages him. It helps him get him through these horrible experiences of this war. And so he goes to see the widow of this friend, this soldier, and it turns out, you know, she's the one that wrote the card, and it just he doesn't want to admit that he knew. He tells her that he pretends like he's just some stranger. He doesn't want to tell her that he knew her husband, and so
is it her husband?
I thought it was, or maybe it was a boyfriend. Maybe it was a fiance. I can't remember. And
I'm thinking. Oh, I
thought it was a widow.
I've seen this movie like once, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting it mixed up with the Nicholas Sparks book, Dear John.
Oh yeah. So
I'm not a. Don't listen to me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, it's her husband, I'm pretty sure. And she also has the fiance who's the jerk. And you got some nice moments between John Newton and Ed Asner. And Ed Asner's really good in it as her father. And it just has a nice heart, has good performances. It's pretty well made. The liar reveal is pretty groan-worthy. Like, you know, you're waiting all movie for him to admit that he knew, and it's just like, this shouldn't be a thing. Like, it's this construct that's created for the story that like any normal person would admit who they are, like, but you got to stretch it out to make the plot, and to make her angry, and how could you lie to me and whatever. And so that's kind of lame, but it's still an enjoyable Christmas, you know, one of the enjoyable sad ones, I guess. It does have a happy ending too. So
yeah, but you know, I'm just like,
yeah, the war.
This water's too deep for me.
All right, what's your number 4?
Okay, so is it 4?
I think that's where we're at. That's where I'm at on my list.
Well, I have 5 left, so.
All right.
Anyway, so the one that I'm going to tell you about right now is A Very Merry Mix-Up. which came out in 2013, starring Alicia Witt and Mark Weeb. So the premise of this one is she has a boyfriend / fiance who's a jerk. And she is going to meet his family. But he's like, oh, you go on ahead, babe. I'm just going to finish up some stuff for work and I'll come down. So she goes and whatever, her phone gets broken and she's like, oh, I don't know where I'm going. And this guy that was like with her on the plane is like, oh, where are you trying to go? I'm from here. This is a pretty small town. And she's like, oh, I'm supposed to meet my fiance's family. When he's like, what's his name? He's like, Will Mitchum. And he's like, what? My brother? Billy Mitchum? And she's like, he didn't tell me he had a brother. Oh, so she goes home with him and his family, and she's just like, they get in a car accident and they have concussions, but like, so they just have to stay up all night and are goofy. That's basically the premise of them having concussion. But anyway, so it's just like really fun and cute. And for the most part, I don't really like Alicia Witt.
Mm-hmm. She's in a lot of these.
She's in a lot of them too, I know. Mm-hmm. But this one, I love this one. She's fun in this. I think that's part of I think I don't like when she talks quiet. I don't like the way her voice does. Anyway. Yeah,
she has a kind of a mannered way of speaking. I can understand what you mean.
But in this one where she's just pretty much up the whole time. So it's really fun and it's like really sweet. It's so good.
I've seen this one. This one's it is really cute. It's one of those sort of stranded, and there's a lot that are sort of you're sort of stranded in a small town, city girl, kind of a thing.
But this one has like the added element of like confused identity.
Yeah, and the brother and everything. That sounds good. I think I went twice in a row. I think that's where we messed up. I think I went right from November Christmas to Christmas card. But anyway, so you want to do your second one?
Okay. So right now I have 4 left, but I can go again. I don't care.
Yeah, go again.
So I'm going to say for my next one, I'm going to do Ice Sculpture Christmas, which stars Rachel Boston and David Alpay and Brenda Strong. It's from 2015. And basically the premise is this girl, she wants to be a chef, and she gets a job at this country club, I guess. Yeah. And contrivance. She and this guy enters her into a ice sculpting contest, and she's like, well, you have to be my partner, and like they just fall in love. And there's like a side plot where there's like a naughty girl who's like, that's what we call them, the bad girls. She's like a naughty girl who's trying to like make sure that Rachel Boston doesn't get the job, whatever. And I don't even know like what the hindrance to their relationship is at the end. Because there's always like 20 minutes left. There's like, oh, we can't be together. I don't even know what it is, because it just kind of like doesn't make any sense. It's just there because it's like a plot beat they have to have. But it's so good. And the reason why it's so good is because I honestly believe that David Alpay was really in love with Rachel Boston. And it's really good.
Yeah.
They're just like in love.
Which one is that one called again?
Ice Sculpture Christmas.
Ice Sculpture Christmas. Yeah, I'm glad you picked that one, because there weren't that many about chefs at Christmas. That's one. But during the regular year, there's like tons that are about cooking and chefs and baking or whatever, some kind of food element.
Yeah,
there's very common.
I don't know who the writers are for Hallmark movies, but they are like, they need to be fed.
They are foodies for sure. Yeah, so that one's very good. Very good. All right, cool. All right, so my third one is, I went back and forth between these three. Like I said, I like all of these about the same, but I really do like these three the best. But I picked It's Christmas Carol.
Yes.
It's Christmas, Carol. And it's 2012. Emmanuel Vagier, I guess, and Carrie Fisher. And I love Christmas Carol. I'm like kind of obsessed with it. And I even on my blog, I did a Scrooge month one year back in 2014 where I watched, I think like 30 something versions. I even watched the Smurfs. I watched everything. And there are several great made for TV movie in this vein, because there's Patrick Stewart one is traditional and is wonderful. But but as far as like these more creative takes, there's one with I think for Lifetime that was Tori Spelling that is so good. And there's one
Carol Christmas?
No. Or is that what it's called? Carol Christmas. I can't remember, but anyway, it's fabulous. You got to look at Tori Spelling, Christmas Carol. It's so good. And then also there's one called The Divas Christmas that was on VH1.
And it's the heart of Christmas that's so easy to find. Okay. When goodwill takes over the whole of mankind. That's my favorite song about Christmas, and you cannot download it. It does not.
Sad. Yeah, it's so good. The way they do the ghosts in that one is so clever and so funny. And I really like I think it's the Ghost of Future is like a behind the music kind of thing. Like, that's so clever. Anyway, but that's those. So this one is also a lot of fun. They kind of make it, they don't really do the traditional ghosts. And I'm not a Christmas Carol traditionalist. Like, I'm fine with different takes and different styles and whatever. And so Carrie Fisher, who I love, of course, plays the former boss of the Emmanuel Maguire character, who had kind of started out really loving to read. That's how she got into publishing. And the Carrie Fisher character, I think her name's Eve, was her boss. And Eve was, of course, really nice and really, but got him into debt and problems. And the Manuel character, she grew up with this single mom, and things were always really, really hard. And so what they do, they don't really have the ghosts. They just have Carrie Fisher like taking her through all of these different time periods. Mm-hmm. And I think she's really, really funny. I think it's actually pretty well written. There's even a jab at Star Wars at one point. There's I like it at one point. She says that she feels sorry for Scrooge, and that everybody bullied him into being a sentimental fool. That's really good. I never heard that in all those versions. Never heard somebody that liked Scrooge. And it's sort of self-aware of the story of Christmas Carol itself within the events happening. It's sort of like Scrooge with Bill Murray in that way. Yeah. So anyway, I really like Carrie Fisher in this. I think she's really fun, and the chemistry isn't quite there between the old flame and her, but I don't know. I just like Carrie Fisher so much, and also I really like the Carson Kressley, I think is his name, and two other people. They decide at her office are really funny, and they decide that they're going to start their own publishing company, and it's like Viva la Revolution, you know. they're really fun, so I enjoy it.
Okay, well, you can't go wrong with Carrie Fisher,
right?
You just can't.
Nope.
Or a Christmas Carol. Like, you've said everything to be said, I'm pretty sure.
All right, so what's your number 3?
My number 3. So my number 3 is it's Window Wonderland. And this came out in 2014, and it stars Naomi Judd is in it, and then I don't know how you say her name, Kyler Lee, I'm assuming, and then Paul Campbell and Cameron Matheson. So it's like Cameron Matheson. Yeah. So it's just like every and in this, the premise is there is a lady who was like the main window dresser for whatever the department store they work at. And she left and quit and went somewhere else. And so now there's a spot, and these two people, Paul Campbell and Kyler Lee, fight over who gets to be the replacement window dresser, like designer, creative person. Anyway, and like he's all like loosey goosey, and he's like, this is just like a fun job, and I'm an artist, and she's like, this is my job, this is what I'm going to do, I'm good at plans. and stuff like that. And it's just like really simple premise. There's not too many like, look at this thing that's going to keep us together. And their chemistry is just great. Paul Campbell could have amazing chemistry with a tree. I'm sure of it. He's so amazing. Anyway, and they also do my favorite thing that ever happens in any sort of movie, which is where they get trapped in a department store.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just that's my dream, is to like have a fake fiance who falls in love with me and we get trapped in a department store.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, dude. That's like, what's that movie from the 80s? Mannequin?
Mannequin! Yes!
Really like that.
It's like Mannequin. It's like if Mannequin became a Hallmark movie about Christmas.
That's the dream right there.
No Mannequin. They're just people the whole time.
Right. Yeah, no, that one is fun. I've seen that one, and it is very enjoyable.
I also really like that she has short hair, because nobody else has short hair in any of these movies.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought of that.
None of the main leads.
Yeah.
So she's got a little bit of a different look.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so my number 2 is A Family for Christmas, and it's 2015. This stars Lacey Chabert, our friend, and Tyrone Leitzo is the name. And
yes.
And this is basically a take on The Family Man, the Nicolas Cage movie. That it's this courier girl who decided to leave her boyfriend for this dream job when she was in college or whatever. And she gets this kind of It's a Wonderful Life kind of Family Man kind of thing, where all of a sudden she wakes up and she is it's as if she had decided not to leave the boyfriend, had stayed with him, and he ends up with 2 kids. And I really like I really like both the leads. I really like the kids in this. I'm a sucker for like trading places, trading bodies, this kind of alternate dimension kind of stories. I really like time travel movies. I just like that kind of element to a story a lot. And so I really do like Family Man with Nicolas Cage very much. And I also like this, Family for Christmas.
Yeah, it's really cute. Tyrone Leitzo is one of my all-time loves. He was in Wonder Falls, that TV show. Did you ever see it? It was only on for 1 season. It's like
I never did.
Super good. The same guy who did Pushing Daisies.
Okay.
Anyway, so I love him, and he's been in he's in Being Erica, the Canadian show, and you would like that because it's about a gal who travels back into her own life and like tries to correct the mistakes that made her life terrible or something. It's really interesting.
Oh, that sounds good.
Anyway, so I've been waiting for Tyrone Leitzo to be in a Hallmark movie that's good, because he's been in a couple that were just like,
not good.
No, thank you. And then he was in this one, and I was like, yes, we did it!
Like, congratulations.
I'm so happy for us. So it's a really good one. I agree with you. It fires on all the cylinders. I like the part where she like has to pick out the marshmallows from the cereal or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true from the kids, yeah.
And I'm like, I would not stand for that nonsense. You're eating it, or you pick it out. But
yeah, I guess they're trying to show like there's sort of pattern to their life, and she's not aware of that, obviously.
I know, but I was just but yeah, not flying in our house.
Agreed. It's definitely very diva moment for sure.
I was like, you get back in the 3rd grade, young lady, and you pick
those kids. The kids are like, you have to make all the cookies, and you have to, like, I don't know, they're very demanding, these children. Yeah.
It was like, when you have this family in the real future, like, ease back a little.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Anyway, but it's really good. I love that one. I agree.
So, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is called A Bride for Christmas. Are you familiar with this?
Yep, this one's good.
Real good. It's from 2012, and it stars Ariel Kebbel and Andrew W. Walker, my former number 1 Hallmark man. And he's like, sometimes he wins. It's really tough to say between Paul Campbell and Andrew Walker. Anyway, so it's about this girl who is a perennial runaway bride. Like, she has been engaged and not married 3 times. And the last time she made it all the way to like walking down the aisle, and she just like, nope, ran away.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not gonna date anyone. I'm not falling in love with anyone. I'm done because I'm a disaster. And Andrew Walker's friends are like, I bet you couldn't get a girl to marry you even if you wanted. And he was like, I totally could. Look at me. And they make a bet that he will be able to convince a girl to marry him by Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like really fun. They have really great chemistry, as evidenced by the fact that they have a second movie with them in it together, where they fall in love. And that one's called Bridal Wave. Check it out. And it's just like really cute and really fun. And it doesn't seem actually like too contrived. I mean, like you would be mad if you found that out too. So
it's similar to like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or She's All That, or something like that.
Now She's All That. You're right. You know, just one of those contrived bet situations. But they do a great job. It's really fun, and I love it.
Yeah, it's a cute one. I agree. All right, so we are at our number 1. This is very exciting. So my number 1 is called Trading Christmas, and this is from 2011, and this has a great cast: Faith Ford, Tom Cavanagh, Gabrielle Miller, and Gil Bellows is his name. And it's a pretty simple story. It's just about these 2 groups. It's basically the Faith Ford character and the Tom Cavanagh character end up switching places, not switching like body switching places, but switching houses for Christmas because they're like frustrated. And Faith Ford's character, her daughter is going off to college and is not going to be there for Christmas, so she's feeling sad. And the Tom Cavanagh character is like has writer's block. And then so then Gabrielle Miller ends up meeting, is like I think the sister of Faith.
I think she was her sister or just her
or friend or something like that. Anyway, ends up going over there, ends up meeting him, and so they have sort of their relationship that sort of develops, and he's sort of the cranky author, the cranky writer. Yeah. And then Faith Ford ends up meeting. There's I think the fire alarm goes off or something happens. She ends up meeting Gil. This guy played by Gil Bellows that is kind of a wounded man in a way, sort of. And they I think the dialogue is actually really good, and I like having sort of more mature relationships, a more mature. This is not about your sort of young ingenue kind of story. Yeah. And I really think especially the Faith Ford and Gil Bellows have such great chemistry. Like it is palpable in their scenes together, I think. And and I don't know. I think that they get to some nice moments between as they're talking about their lives and their dreams and what has happened in their lives and their kids and all of that. And it's just a really pleasant holiday Christmas movie.
It's so good. It's amazing. I feel like when we were exchanging our lists, I was like, yes, that's on your list? Good. Because I'm pretty sure this was number 13 on my list. And like the only reason why it was just lower is just because when I was like randomly assigning numbers based on feeling, it was like half a decimal point lower than the other ones. Yeah. So it's so good. I believe it's my mom's favorite. Like anytime it's on, she's like, oh, we're going to watch this one. And I'm like, Mom, it's already recorded. And she's like, well, just watch it. Just watch it live. Yeah. Like, okay. I mean, we could skip commercials if we watch the recorded one, but anyway, so it's so good. Tom Cavanagh. That's funny that you love the Gil Bellows Faith Ford part because I'm like, I love the Tom Cavanagh side of the story. I'm just like,
it's good too. It's just a little bit more unusual, I think, to have sort of a more mature kind of romance, and so I guess maybe I appreciate that a little bit more. Whereas the Tom Cavanagh part is a little more conventional, but it's really well executed. They're great in it, and they have great chemistry too. And it's, you actually do like believe these people are like, it feels believable that so and so could come over to the house and they could meet, and they could, you know, it's sort of similar to, I guess, the holiday.
Yeah.
But I actually, I don't know, I would say if I like this as much, I probably do as the holiday.
It's really good. And I
Yeah.
would like, if this was like the sequel to The Holiday, I would be like about it.
Yeah.
And it's just itself, and I'm still about it. It's
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So what's your number one? What's your top?
My number one should be obvious to anyone who's watched Hallmark movies, because it is by far the best Hallmark Christmas movie of all time. That is, of course, The 9 Lives of Christmas. It's got everything you could possibly want. Handsome firemen, kittens, Brandon Rout. What else? What else do you need? Nothing. So basically the premise is she's a veterinarian student who works at like a pet store, and he is a handsome fireman who finds a cat. And because he finds this cat and he ends up taking care of it, he ends up talking to her, and she's teaching him how to take care of cats, and he blah, yada yada yada.
Well, and he's like this like confirmed bachelor, like he's not interested in women.
Like, no, he's like a playboy. He has like a kind of girlfriend who's played by the naughty girl, who is like, dad owns the pet store where the girl works. She gets her fired, and he's like, oh, you're fired. And then he goes over to talk to her, and like, she's not supposed to have a cat in her apartment, and he like gets her kicked out of her house. Like, he just ruins her life. And he's like, you know what? You can come stay at this house that I'm fixing up. And she's like helpful, and they like have cute scenes where they're like painting, and she's being helpful, and it's so great watching him.
Well,
I love him so much, but I'm afraid of being in love.
But he just makes a big deal about the fact like he doesn't want to be tied down. He's not interested in getting married, you know, kind of a thing. And so I agree. That one's a really fun one. It's interesting because like that we have completely different lists. I mean, I think that probably goes to show how many of these movies there are, first of all, and you know, just I think how many genuinely entertaining ones there are as well.
Yeah, and I'm serious. If you have not seen The 9 Lives of Christmas, it's because I just need to talk about. I didn't even say her name. So it has. It was made in 2014. It has Brandon Routh, Kimberly Sustad, and Gregory Harrison, who's the fire chief in this one. And she is so good. I wish that she was in more movies, like regular movies, Hallmark movies, or whatever. The thing that really sets this movie apart, I think, is her comedic timing. Because she's able to do things that like most other characters couldn't just pull off. Or they could pull off, but like she just shines. She's able to be funny, and like when she needs to be sad and vulnerable, you don't feel like it's like, well, why would you even be sad in this situation? You just are. I'm just like, I am with her 100% of the way. I like, she's just like the most relatable person on the earth.
Yeah, and she's beautiful.
She's
beautiful. One of the prettiest of the leading ladies, I would say. She's got just a unique look to her. She's really pretty.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand how she's not in like real. Not that these aren't real movies, but like
I got you.
Like she's incredible to me.
Yeah, so, she's really good. That's a good pick for your number one.
Thank you.
There you go. So we have you want to go over your whole list real quick? I'll go over mine first.
Okay.
So I have
mine aren't in a real order, so I'm just going to say my list. Does that matter?
Yeah, that's fine. So I'll go over mine. I have Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, Mrs. Miracle, A Boyfriend for Christmas, and the National Tree. I didn't talk about that. How did I not talk about that?
You skipped it. That's why we got messed up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Boy, okay. So backsies. So the National Tree is on my list. Oh well. So the National Tree. This one is cool. This was 2009. Andrew McCarthy and Evan Williams. And the nice thing about this is that it's not a romance. It's a father-son story about they have this tree that's going to be the White House Christmas tree, and they go on this road trip to take the tree. And it's just about their relationship. And a nice story. So anyway, that's funny that I forgot to talk about that. So yeah, there's not that many that aren't just full out rom-coms.
Yeah, well, I'm about it. I'm like rom-com all the way.
Sounds good. Okay, so then I have The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, A Crown for Christmas, Fur Crazy, November Christmas, A Christmas Card, It's Christmas Carol, Family for Christmas, and Trading Christmas.
Okay, and then my list in reverse chronological order. That's how it's sorted, and I don't remember what I did.
Yeah.
Is Love Always Santa, Once Upon a Holiday, Ice Sculpture Christmas, Window Wonderland, super good, A Very Merry Mix-Up, Snow Bride, A Bride for Christmas, Naughty or Nice, Matchmaker Santa, Annie Claus is Coming to Town, and The Great, The 9 Lives of Christmas, which wasn't in chronological order, but like it was in its own separate list because it's that good.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, great. Well, if any of you watching, if you've seen any of these, if you have comments on any of these, if you have your own list, please share in the comments section. We'd love to hear and we'd love to know. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to the upcoming season, and we're still sort of formulating what we're going to do as far as podcasting. But we'll let you know, and let us know what you'd like us to do, whether it's once a week or whether it's how we're going to do it. So anyway, let us know what your interest is, and where can people find you?
People can find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm starting to become a little bit more active on Twitter, but right now it's mostly just like #BigBrother. So, but you can find me on Twitter @AmberBrainwaves, and that's basically it.
Yeah, cool. You can find me at Smiley LDS Girl on social media, and Rachel's Reviews here on YouTube. And then I have a blog, 54DisneyReviews.com. And tomorrow I am doing a podcast with my friend Mike at Cartoon Karma, and we are going to be talking about the Studio Ghibli anime film called Kiki's Delivery Service. So that will be really fun to talk about. So something to look forward to. And thanks so much for joining me. This was really fun. There's something different. So it was a breath of fresh air to watch some of these movies this week. And I don't know. It was just something I needed to feel not so, just to have that Christmas spirit for a week was nice.
Absolutely. That's why I watch one every month, because I'm like, You know what? It just makes me want to like give to people who are ringing bells, and it makes me want to buy presents for people and be nice and happy. So yes, keep the spirit of Christmas all year round. Watching all the Hallmark movies.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks, and again, let us know what you think and what you would like us to cover this coming holiday season, and we will talk again soon.
Bye.
Yeah.